The Predator spoiler review. Spoiler review. This review has spoilers in it. I'm going to talk about things that happen in the movie. So if you have not seen the movie, spoilers. If you've seen the movie or you haven't seen the movie and you just don't care, then keep watching, man. This movie has a few actors and a ton of actors. Boyd Holbrook, Jacob Tremblay, Keegan Michael Key, who's a comedian doing horror movie. They're doing a lot of that lately. Olivia Munn, Sterling K. Brown, who I actually like. His body of work is starting to increase. He plays a pretty good villain, even villain-ish. He's good as the intellectual villain, as the guy that you want to see get killed because he's just, too smug, too stuck on himself, that kind of guy. He does that well. I mean, I like his body of work lately. So what had happened was the alien shows up, comes to Earth, crash lands, and starts wiping people out. The movie starts off with him just destroying people. And I mean, that's cool. That's an alien movie. That's cool. He kills everybody that he can get his hands on. The survivor gets a hold of some of the alien tech, steals it, sends it back home to his kid. The kid is supposed to be on the spectrum, but he's on it and then he's off of it. He's like, sometimes he's doing that, tapping your head kind of a thing, and you're like, oh yeah, right, okay, cool. He's on the spectrum, I get it. And then, like right after that, he's a freaking genius. He knows everything. He can speak alien or predator, and I'm like, what? He figures out. He plays with some of their tech, and he figures it out. He just figures it out. He's wearing a helmet. This is the part that gets me. He's wearing a helmet of a predator, right? Pop sent it to him. He thinks it's a toy. He's putting it on. He's walking around. It's Halloween, man. And the predator tech self-protects. So this kid who's bullying him throws something at him, hits him in the back of the head. The alien helmet is like, uh-oh, threat detected, and points a rocket at the dude, or I guess a laser, and blasts the dude. The dude blows up. The house that he's in blows up, and the kid's like, I guess I'll take my hat off and go get some candy down the street. He just kind of walks away like, well, he threatens some more kids. He's like, and he threatens some other kids and he leaves. I'm thinking, you don't know you're in a movie. You just killed somebody, blew their house up. He's not surprised that the helmet, had defenses in it, that it talked, that it killed somebody. He just lays it in the street and figures, well, let somebody else play with it. He killed somebody, and he's like, and then he just leaves. And I'm like, what's going on in this movie? The previous Predators were far more serious, and it made them more interesting. When you had Arnold Schwarzenegger, jacked, full of muscle and everything, terrified about this thing. When you had Billy with the big knife, big tall Indian dude, and he was terrified. When you had Carl Weathers, jacked, Apollo Creed, terrified. I'm like, oh, I should be scared too because they're bigger than I am. But this little kid is like, And when the loons, when the crazy people, The crazy military people realize that there's an actual monster, an actual alien from space killing people. They're like, let's kill it, yeah. I'm like, what? From space? I'd have been like, nope, 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 nope. But they were just okay with it. I didn't understand the direction that the movie was taking. It seemed more like a comedy that was trying to be serious instead of a serious extension to an extremely well-received sci-fi franchise. It didn't take itself as seriously as it should have, and there was a lot of aspects of this movie that you wanted to go, oh, okay, yeah, they should take that serious. It's an 11-foot tall alien. He just knocked that other alien off in like a hot second. He kills I was waiting. One of the reasons I wanted to see this movie so bad was because I wanted to see an alien versus alien. We seen Alien versus Arnold. Good movie. Alien versus Danny Glover. Danny Glover's like 11 feet tall. Good movie. Alien versus Adrian Brody. He got jacked for the movie. Good movie-ish. But when they mentioned Alien versus Predator, I was like, oh, it's going to be so good. And it came out. And I was like, oh, okay, all right, I get it. And then they had Predator in a movie versus another Predator. I was like, oh, that's going to be so good. Because the Predators, the little one ain't going to be scared. He hunts things all across the universe, the cosmos, aliens and monsters all over the place. He ain't scared. He ain't no punk. So I'm like, oh, this is going to be good. They're going to get down. They fought for like a minute and a half for the whole movie. That was not, they didn't look at that and say, this is going to be big. And a predator versus another predator. And not like with the Adrian Brody movie where he was already beaten down and tied to a stick and they were going to kill him anyway. He was almost dead. This dude had got his tech. He was ready to go. When the other aliens showed up, he got the first blow in, but he was like, yeah, come on, dog, let's do it. And he got beat so quick, and I think they were trying to say, he got beat so quick, look how impressive the new one is. But the new one wasn't really that impressive because, he was supposed to be, spoiler, it turns out that one of the things that I really didn't like about this was they destroyed all of the things I liked about the previous ones. The aliens in the previous ones, they didn't speak English. They mimicked things that they heard as English that was probably translated so that they knew what they were saying, but they used like an automated type voice, to repeat like Billy's laugh or whatever. And they said things to you, and it was like, ooh. He's like, anytime. And I'm like, oh, not now. And that was terrifying. They built a translator so that they can understand him and they can speak to him now. So when the alien spoke to him, it came out in English. And I was like, that's not cool. The aliens were ripping off people's heads and yanking their spinal columns right out of their backs, through their backs. And I was like, oh, that's horrible. They keep the heads. Why are they yanking the spines out? It was a mystery. They explain it. You know what? It's like explaining where the Joker, who he actually is. It's part of the mystery. Nobody knows. He's just a dude that walked out of an alley and started killing people. But this, it's the Predator, who did. It's parts of mystery. Why are they doing these things that they're doing? And they explain it. It was like I used to watch vampire movies and I was terrified because vampires were like demons. They would look like humans, but they were biting people and sucking them like a Slurpee. And then when Blade came out, they're like, they've got a blood deficiency and something with their hemoglobin. And I was like, wait a minute, they're going to make it like it's no longer supernatural, it's science fiction? You can't do that to a vampire. they're not scary no more. Because you could probably give him, an insulin shot or something and he'd be okay. He ain't gonna bite nobody no more. Probably want a steak and a Coke or something. And I wasn't scared anymore. I was like, well, shoot. When I was little, my mom had insulin in the house. I was like, I could give a vampire a shot of insulin and it'd be fixed. Understanding the terror makes it less terrifying. So when they took the aliens and they broke them down and they explained so much of them, I was like, oh, I get a translator. I could talk to the alien and be like, dog, don't kill me, dog. I twisted my ankle. I'm not up for it today. Come back in a month. You can talk to them. Anybody you can talk to that talks back, you can reason with. No longer a super threat. They were the cosmic serial killers. And now they're just dudes with a bad attitude. You can talk your way out of that. The Predator wakes up. The first one wakes up because they capture him. And he slaughters everybody. And that was kind of cool because the Predator bit a dude. And I'm thinking with that big mouth, you don't never want to get bit by a predator. It ain't like a mosquito. They bite you like a shark. And the big one, he bit somebody. So maybe they bite people more than it shows in the other movies. But I was thinking with them big mouth and them big mandibles, they gotta bite people. I mean, humans. If you get in a fight with the wrong person, you might get bit. So people do it. Predators do it in big mouths like that. So yeah, a couple of people got bit. And the big one, when the little one bit this dude, I was like, oh, he ain't gonna survive that. When the big one bit a dude, I was like, ooh, he did. And that part was kind of cool. When they introduced that part was kind of cool. They kept the part where the predator won't kill anybody if it's not a threat, if it doesn't perceive them as a threat. Because there's a scene where Olivia Munn is naked, right? Because she has to go through this. She can't open this special door unless, like, she gets, sterilized. And it's got to hit her with all of this chemicals and steams or whatever so she can walk through. She's got to remove her clothing. And once it recognizes that it's happened, it'll open the door and allow her to go through. So she's trying to escape from the alien, from the predator, and she can't because she still got her clothes on. She can't get through the door. And she's like, oh my God, I can't get through the door. So she has to strip, bucket naked, and then wait for the machine to come on and blast her. And the alien, the predator is over there just picking people up and snatching arms off and punching people in the face and biting people. And I was like, wow, you might as well have had like a couple of tigers in there or something. It was very, that part was pretty impressive. I enjoyed watching the hand to hand because they gave it a deadlier edge with that, and that was kind of cool. But it sees her when it walks out because he's leaving and she's trying to hurry up and get through the door. She don't make it. But he sees her and he's like, huh. And he keeps walking because he's like, no threat. Now here's something else that got me though. They had it sedated, and for some reason it woke up, but they had it sedated. They have these tranq guns that they only have to tap him once, and he's out, right? They know it works because that's how they captured him. They know it works because that's how they kept him sedated. They know it works because they built guns around the technology to shoot these dudes. I'm thinking through the rest of the movie, she took a gun and she shot at it once and missed, and that was it. But nobody else, everybody's shooting bullets. Why don't you grab one of them tranq guns? Why don't you use something that you know would work? That's, again, my vampire analogy. It's like knowing there's a vampire coming to your house, and instead of having a cross or garlic or a steak, you have a knife or a bat. You're gonna die. You know what will work. Why wouldn't you use what will work? It just blew my mind. Blew my mind. The last thing I'm going to touch on with this, because I was really impressed with some of it, and some of it I could have just had a V8. I didn't know what it was doing. But something, well, two more things. Something else was the aliens are supposed to be either they are an amalgam of other aliens or they're enhancing themselves with other DNA from other aliens. So they go to a world where everybody's 11 foot tall. They steal some of that DNA so that they can be taller. They go to a world where people are stronger. They get some of that DNA, and now they're, all hulked out. They came to Earth because humans are cunning. We have guile. We're slick, and we can outslick a can of oil. So they want to come here so they can be as slick as humans are. So they come here and they go against the greatest warriors, and the warriors, like the Schwarzenegger, the Dutch, and the first one, and people like that, and they snatch their spines out, supposedly so they can get the DNA, so that they can use that to make their people better, right? My thing is, then how come when they meet somebody that they consider a worthy warrior, they give them a gift? And then they go and take that gift, girl. Go and take that gun from, the 18th century or whatever. We couldn't kill Dutch, we could go get him, but nah. They let the best ones go. I didn't understand that. And they're like, well, we'll get the second best. That's cool. That's not cool. And if they are, in fact, an amalgam of these different aliens, and they've been to Earth several times, as they said in the movie, then why didn't they get these guys? They should have got the best. I would have. I mean, if I had a choice, I'd get the best. But they didn't. Why? Who are they picking? Like winos? Drunks? Who did they get? Because humans, are beating them constantly. So, I mean, I didn't understand that. I didn't understand it. And the last thing I'm going to touch on is at the end of the movie, spoiler, end of the movie, the Predator, right? The first one that comes to Earth is coming so that he can bring Earth a weapon, because there's a war brewing with the humans and the predators. And only a few people know. This particular predator knew, and for some reason, a la Benedict Arnold or a la that dude from Avatar, he decided to turn against his race. And he decided that he was going to come here and bring humans a weapon. He must not have no friends on his planet. Yatu Prime, he brings humans a weapon that will allow them to kill his people. I would never do that. I wouldn't even, why would you do that? But he did it. He's like, he's a weapon that's going to help you kill us, man. My first thought is, if you know for a fact that it will kill your people and you want them killed, I guess, because you want the humans to win, why didn't you use it? You know how it works. He didn't use it himself. And the second thing was what the weapon. What the next thing was, when he came to Earth, he was going to give it to the humans. But the first humans he encounters, he slaughters. And I'm thinking, what are you doing? I thought you was here to help. That'd be like, if you're bleeding and the nurse comes and instead of giving you a Band-Aid, she starts shooting everybody around you. And then she looks at you and she's like, hasta la vista. And then she shoots you. And then afterwards gives you a Band-Aid. It didn't make any sense. It was killing people through the whole time he was awake. And then he's like, oh yeah, by the way, here's his weapon that'll help you win the war. And it was like Iron Man bleeding armor. It attached to this doctor's arm, and it was like, and it transformed into like a cross between a Terminator and a Predator. It was like armor and a Terminator and a Predator. It looked like a Predator, but he was like what if a Predator was part of Cyberdyne and had become a Predator cyborg, but it fastened around his body like Iron Man's armor in Infinity War. I was like, that's crazy. That's just nuts. I have no idea what's going on now. I thought it was a part of the franchise. Then I thought it was kind of like a comedy. Then I was like, are they trying to make like a superhero movie? Because the dude's like, I'll be wearing that armor. I'm thinking, dude, you're just a soldier. Matter of fact, you probably are, are UA and probably court-martialed. I don't even know what you're doing there, but he shows up, the dude, that like stole stuff and was killing Americans and what have you, and he was fighting people, and he shows up and he's like, that suit's mine. And I'm thinking, who are you? You walk up and take this alien tech that, actually Sterling K. Brown worked for the government, and he was higher up on the food chain, and he was like, look, they know too much, kill him. So if he was saying that, this guy, he's not the president. He wasn't in charge of an entire wing of whatever. He works for somebody. So whoever was up over him was probably like, oh, Sterling K. Brown couldn't kill him. Send a couple guys over there to their house while they sleep. They would have been shot in the face. There's no way around that. But he just shows up and like, I'll be wearing that suit. Movies, but I don't know if you could catch it or not, but I did not dig this movie too much. I mean, it was action. It was a Predator. It had throwbacks to all the movies. There's a scene where there's a bunch of motorcycles and they're trying to escape, and the guy points at the motorcycles and he's like, get to the choppers. And I was like, wow, that's crazy they said that. But, it was good. It just wasn't as good as I thought it should have been. I expected a 10, pretty close to a 10. But this got 6 bags of popcorn. Man. But that's what I think. What you think? Have you seen the movie? What's your favorite Predator movie? Let's talk about it in the comments. And as always, if you like the video, if you like the content, subscribe. And then like.
Popcorn passport. Get your popcorn passport.